In this video, I'm going to be showing you my exact process for designing high converting e-commerce emails inside of Figma. This is the exact process that has generated over $20 million for my partner brands in the past 12 months. Here are some examples that this process has made. I'm going to be showing you step by step how to make these emails inside of Figma with some brief tutorials. I'm going to be going through my thought process when creating an email. And I'm also going to be showing you how to upload these emails inside of Klaviyo so that they're optimized for deliverability. Now, I want to start off by saying that I would recommend staying away from using Canva for email design because it's a little bit too simplistic and it's really hard to organize. And Figma can be just as simple but with more capabilities, and emails just always turn out better. And it has bonus features which I'm going to be showing you throughout this whole video. So enough yapping, let us get into it. Okay, so here I am inside of Figma. You can see I kind of have some stuff laid out here just so that we can have it for reference. First, I want to show you a little bit around Figma. So we obviously have this section here, which you can see it's highlighting different parts of the email because that's exactly what these are. These are called layers. And so if you choose a certain layer, like if I chose the logo right here, it's going to pull up the logo, and then you get specific information about the logo here. So if I want to like change the size, I could change the width to like 3000, and then it's going to update right there. But I'm just going to go ahead and undo that. And then if I click out of it, you can obviously go into any one of these sections here, and it's going to highlight on the left and right side. Then you'll also see up in this top left corner, we have different little features that we can do here. We have like our menu, we have text, we have comments, we have if we just want to move stuff around, we have shapes, all that good stuff. Now, like 90% of like everything that you see here with like all this crazy stuff, like you don't really even use it too much. And so I think it's best if I just show you exactly how I create an email, and then you're gonna see just how little stuff that I use and then what stuff you should be using, and hopefully it brings you a ton of clarity. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking this copy here, which we put together for a Gymshark email, and then I'm going to be turning that into a design live. So we can see the copy here. This is how I like to write copy in my agency rather than just listing out like headline, this, body copy, this. I like to really lay things out for the designer so that the copywriter, they know exactly how the email is going to turn out, because I used to be exclusively a copywriter. Sometimes I would think an email would turn out one way and it would go completely different direction. And so it just lets you have a little bit more control. And designers appreciate it because sometimes it can be really hard just like starting from absolutely nothing. So laying things out like this are a great way to start with your design. So you can see this is a back in stock email. It says back in stock, they're back. It has a little bit of copy. Then this is a button, and then we want a graphic, and then core values, and then looks like we just want some fan favorites and like bestsellers just listed out in some way. Now, what's really nice and what I highly recommend is having templates ready to go for your emails. And so like what I do, for example, is I have a ton of templates for hero sections, bridge sections, and then product sections. So right here, this gives you a really good place to like start out when you're building an email. Like for example, you can see this is hero section 7, 3, and then 2. If you want these, just sign up for my newsletter and you'll get information on it. But it's super helpful way to start out. And we could see I have a headline here, body copy, a button, and then a graphic. So I think probably we're going to want to start off with something like this for the template that we're using for the hero section for this email. So I'm just going to plug this in over here. I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm just going to use this actually just on the side for reference, and you guys can just watch me start from absolutely nothing. So again, this is Gymshark. I do not work for Gymshark, and I don't have any access to their assets, so I'm just taking stuff off of the internet and building from there. So let's get into it. The first thing that we're going to want to do is we want to create the logo. And so all you really need to do, I'm just going to have a white logo, so I'm going to pull up a rectangle here and just do a logo section right here. I like to have the width for all my emails 600, so I'm going to adjust the width here. Then let's just do 600 by 100 here, and then maybe change this color to a white color, and then we want to put their logo smack dab in the middle now. Okay, so I've just put in their logo. Now I'm just going to drag this in right here. Now it's nice and centered. Figma helps us align it. So perfect. Now we have the logo. Now we can kind of like map out the rest. So we're going to want a headline, body copy, and then a button, and then a graphic. So I'm gonna want the graphic to be in the background here. So now I just have to go find an image from Gymshark, and this can usually take the longest of your design, is finding an image that works. And so that's what I'm gonna do right now, and I'll report back when I find something. Okay, so I found a cool picture of some jacked people in a mirror. I think this is good. It gives off like the Gymshark vibe, and I guess for this email, we're gonna make it darker because this image looks pretty dark. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to align this. I'm going to make the width 600, and then boom. Now the problem is we have all this text that we need to put over top of the image, and we don't want to cover their faces. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add like a background here and make it flow and make it look like it is part of this image. So here's what I am going to do. So I am going to take a rectangle and I am going to place it here. I'm going to make the width 600 and apply it here. I'm going to turn it the color black, and then I'm going to drag this here, and that actually flows kind of smoothly. Oh wow, I was not expecting that, but we're gonna have to apply a gradient. So a gradient, it's essentially just going to be a smooth transition from one color to another. In this case, we're gonna do color to a transparent background. So I'm just going to duplicate this rectangle and then move this down to like here. And then all that I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a gradient. So how I do that here is I'm just going to click the color, the fill here, then I'm going to go to this tab right here, and now we have a gradient. So right now it's going side to side, so we want to make this up to top. And then this is good. The stops, this is telling you what percentage, at what point do you stop. But the thing is, like at this bottom, instead of making it this color, we want to make it completely transparent. So I'm just going to make that transparent. And so now what we have here is we have a gradient from the top, which is black, to now it's slowly transitioning into clear. And you can see that is a little bit better. Maybe we want to move it. We can adjust this as we want. So I just kind of adjusted it a little bit. I changed it to black, and then we can have this be whatever we want. I'm going to have it go like this. I think that looks pretty good. And now we have some space to add our text. So all that we need to do here is we can just go up here and then insert our text like this. We can adjust our size to whatever we want. Say like they're back. So I just adjusted the font, made sure that it's all good, and now we have that copy, they're back. And then we can just duplicate and do the same thing for the body copy. Drag this in here, then just make sure that it's aligned. Okay, perfect. Now we need the shop button, so we want to say shop bestsellers. So all we need to do here is we can get like an ellipse. So all we need to do is I'm just going to make a rectangle with rounded corners. Let's make this white. And right up here, this is how you can have rounded corners. So we can like just start off with like 65 and see how that looks. Gonna want to make this a little bigger. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this and say shop best sellers. Change you to black. Oops. Change the color to black. And then we have a situation here where it is behind, so I can't see the text. That's because it is behind this rectangle. So if we just reorder this, then the shop bestsellers comes to the front. So I'm just going to do this, and then we want to make this a little bit bigger since it's a button. Maybe not that big, like that. And then we can make it bold, then maybe adjust this button a little bit. So I just messed around until I got what I wanted. And then boom, not too shabby at all. We just need to adjust this a little bit. We can move this image and you down a little bit. And then extend this. And boom, not too bad. And boom, there's our hero section. That is not too bad. This is a bit of a long hero section. It would take a long time for a person to scroll down and find like the next section. So I'm just going to crop this. I'm going to hold the command key and then just adjust this. Maybe we can start for now, just like right at this point right here, maybe 600 by 500. So now the hero section is set. Let us move on to the core values section. Same sort of deal. We're going to want to set a background. Maybe let's mix it up and do a white background rather than black so that this email is way too dark. Plus it's nice to like make your sections clear for people. So I'm just going to add another square, adjust the sizing here and make you white. And then we just want to plug in the copy. I'm going to put you here, say our core values, copy and paste and get the rest. Perfect. Now we can just mess around with like the sizing and the fonts, how we want them. But here's how it looks. It looks kind of awkward, and I think that our values is a bit lame. So I'm going to change this to something like the Gymshark way. And then we kind of have like this hierarchy of like a longer headline, and then it moves down like a pyramid and it funnels your eyes. I think that looks a little bit better. And then now we have this section here where we have to put in the table and then all the copy. So I'm just going to start out by like listing out and like kind of like laying out everything. I'm going to say value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4, value 5. And and then we can copy this over, and then I'm going to select these and copy them over because we're going to make it split like a table, and then probably add like some sort of a divider. I think it would look weird. I don't want it to be split up too much like a grid, so maybe we make it a little bit more fluid. So I'm going to take a rectangle here and just have small little dividers like this that's like repeated between the two. So we'll have something like this, and then we can copy and paste it and put it below like this, so it's not like they're trapped. Okay, my computer just shut down, but we're all good. I filled this in, I adjusted the fonts and everything, so this is what we have, the Gymshark way. Our values are invaluable. We list out the values, we break things up this way. But I feel like this is still like kind of a little bit lame. There's like no depth. It looks very two-dimensional. It's just like a white background. So what I would do here is I would probably add like some icons or something, or add like some gradient or something. I think it would be cool if we add like gradients like behind the text here. So I'm going to do that. So this is how I typically do gradients. Gradients are just like changing color from like the top to the bottom like we did in the hero section. But what we're going to do is we're going to place it here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a rectangle. I'm just going to put it to the side and put it at width 600. And then I'm going to drag it over here, like behind this. We could do it behind everything, but I think I'm gonna go one by one and see how that looks. And I'm going to reorganize these layers in a second, but essentially we just wanna move this behind like the text that we had. So I'm gonna move this way back. And then now we are set, it's behind. Let's adjust this. Okay, so that's what we have. Now I want to apply the gradient. So I want this to be white and maybe go from like a grayish color to like a white color at the bottom, or just like transparent. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to go over to the gradient option again. Right now it's going side to side. I want it to go top to bottom. So we're just gonna do this, and I want it to end at white. So I'm gonna go to the bottom one and then have it end like that. So that looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. I feel like this is a bit harsh of a color to come out of nowhere with. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit lighter. Just gonna drag this up. Maybe like that is perfect. Cool, so that adds a little bit of depth. Now I'm just gonna repeat it for the rest. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Place you here and then drag you down, and boom, just like that we are set. Some of the spacing is a little bit off, so I'm going to adjust that, but I think this looks pretty good. It adds a little bit of depth, makes it not just like a flat white background. But I'm just going to adjust the spacing real quick so that we're good. Cool, so now we are done with this section. This is what we have so far for the design. I feel like it's pretty on brand. It's not too far off from what they do, and looks pretty cool. Now we have this bottom section, but first I'm going to reorganize layers because you should be doing this from the start, but I'm bad, so I don't really organize, but I'm going to organize this and show you how you should do it. So first we want to make sure that this is one like whole frame. So I'm just going to click all this, make sure we have everything. I'm going to double tap here and we're going to create a frame. So now everything is within this frame. So if I click the drop down, you can see everything is inside. Everything outside is like this stuff and this stuff, but right here we have the frame. I'm just going to name this Gymshark email, and then boom, now it's Gymshark email, and then we can adjust this, and that's the size of the frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend this out so that we make room for the rest of the email. All right, now it is time to like group stuff and organize everything so that it's easy to track. So I like to group everything by section. So I'm going to click everything here and I'm going to group all this. I'm just going to click here and I'm going to make it a group. Now we have group 112, which within it, we have all this stuff in the hero section. So I'm just going to name this hero section. And then I want to drag it to the top just so it's easy to find. Let me scroll, and then we'll put it right here. And so actually above it, we want to do the logo section. So I'm going to take both these, I'm going to group this, and then I'm going to say logo, and then drag the logo up to the top. Now we have logo, hero section, and we can even organize within the hero section. So like, for example, we can make the button one thing. So I'm just going to group these and group that and say button. And then up here, we can like change this to headline. We can change this to sub headline and organize these as we want. I'm just gonna put in gradient, which is that. And then we have the background here. And then of course, last behind everything, we have the image. And then now it's a little bit cleaner and a little bit better laid out and you can easily navigate everything. Now I'm gonna do the same thing here for the bridge section. Okay, so now we are nice and organized. We have the logo, we have the hero, we have the bridge section. They're all separated and they have their different layers in here, which are labeled pretty nicely. Some people will organize it better than I do, but I keep it pretty bare. Now we kind of went out of order, but let's do the body section now. So we're just doing our fan favorites, and then we just want to list out a few bestsellers, which we can take from the website. So I'm just going to extend this by moving the background out a little bit because I don't think we need to change the background too much, and I'm just going to copy this down, and then I'm gonna say our fan favorites. Rather than that, we could even take it like just a step further and stay on the theme of Gymshark and just say Gymshark favorites. So now I'm going to go take a couple bestsellers from their website and just put them off to the side and show you guys what I do. I'm just gonna choose 3 for now. All right, so here are what I chose. I just did like a couple of the main products. This is like women's and then a couple men's. I actually have this same product. No, I'm kidding, but you get the point. We just want to insert these in and do our product sections so we can go up to our product sections here and then take some inspiration. So for this one, we have 3 products that we want to do, and we can fill out a little bit of space here. Something to always keep a note for your product sections is you want each of your items to have their own like individual shop navs. This way the customer knows that they can click and shop each item directly from the email, and it's going to link them directly to the site. But I think probably the best here, we've already given a lot of information in the emails. I don't think we need to give like a whole bunch of information about the product, and I don't think this would fit quite well. So I'm just going to do something like this. I'm going to recreate this myself, but essentially it looks like we're doing a little S curve. So we're showing products like in an S, and then just giving the product name and then giving a shop now button. So I am just going to drag these in for now. Maybe we put you here, we put this one here, drag this down, oops. So I'm just going to click the background here and then drag this down, and then we have this here. Now obviously we need to format this now. So we can just put this, like, let's just say like right there is fine, and then we can do the same sort of thing here for this one, set them apart a little bit, and then do the same thing here. We just want to make sure that these are like equally spread apart and equally the distances. So I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do this, but I usually will just get out like a rectangle like this. And then what I'll do is make sure this is aligned and then see how far away this is from there. 67, and then I'll go here and then do the same thing and just make sure it's aligned. Now I want to do the same thing for how spread apart these are. So that's what it is. So then I go here and then move that up to be in line with that. And then I want to make sure it's in line with the top as well, or with this top image. So let's see, is it gonna let me align that? No. So I will just take this, extend this out, and then move you here. It looks like this one actually is outside of the frame. So I'm just gonna move it inside of the frame, and then now it's gonna let me like align this. So that's perfect right there. Perfect, so now I can delete that, and then we have this. Now we can just like fill in the text. So I just inserted a text box and put the name of the product, minimal sports bra, and then we can throw it in wherever. Then we're gonna want a shop now button as well. So to do that, I'm just gonna go up to this button, save some time, copy it, and then paste it down here, and then let's adjust the sizing. So I can go down to selection colors here, and then just change the background to black, and then this other one, change the text to white, and then we can adjust the size a little bit. So let's make you a bit smaller, maybe like that is good, and then we can just change this to say shop now, just you, put you inside. That looks a little bit big, so maybe turn you down just a hair, and then boom, that looks like pretty good and looks evenly spaced. Perfect. I might even, yeah, I think this is good to go. This looks a little bit empty, so I want to add a little bit of pizzazz. These are really highly reviewed products, so why don't we just like put how many reviews they are. So I'm just going to insert a star here, and then boom, now we can just adjust the size rather than if I just change the width here. So you can see the width and the height aren't connected right now. So if I change the width to like 25, it's gonna completely mess it up. So I'm just gonna go back, and now I can make these go together in direct proportion. So if I turn this to 25, it's also gonna adjust the height. So we can do that. I'm just gonna change this to black, and then give the review number. So it's rated like 4.3, I believe. And then boom, that's pretty good. Let's adjust this a little bit smaller and make you a little bit smaller. I adjusted it just a little bit more, and maybe also like to go with these products, it still looks a little bit bare. So I'm going to add just like a little like quick information about the product. So just copy and paste this, say like support. Right now it's in all caps, and you can actually change that if you go down in the text section to these 3 dots. I'm just gonna change this to do as typed, and so right now let's click on this, light support, perfect. And then I will move you down, and then maybe make this smaller, and then like a gray color, just like that. And then let's just make this, you could do medium or just make it light. That makes it a little bit better. And then now it's just a matter of like spacing this out. So that looks pretty good. I just adjusted like some of the spacing and the sizing, and I kind of like how this looks. Maybe we could just add a little bit of depth to this photo rather than have it just be like thrown onto there. I think we could carry over this theme of like this line. So if I copy and paste this, I can add it to like one side of the image, maybe like put it here and then extend it, and I think this will look pretty good. Cool. And let's just make sure that these are aligned and perfect. I'm just gonna move this out of the prior frame, and that looks pretty good. It has a little bit more depth. We have some more information on the product. There's a good amount of stuff going on, but not too much. Perfect. I like it. Now I'm just going to repeat this for the other products. Now this looks pretty freaking good. I like it. I like it. Everything has a little bit more depth. You have some cool stuff. We carry this theme of like the black lines over. We have our individual shop now buttons. We have a little bit of information on the product. Looks like this just needs to be adjusted like the center wise. So when you're going back through designs, you're gonna notice a lot of little stuff like this. So always make sure you're checking. Okay, perfect. And always for any product section where you're showing individual products, maybe the person didn't like any of these products, but they want to browse. They're interested in shopping right now. So we always want to end with a shop now button, like a more general shop now button after our product sections so that they can shop more bestsellers. So I'm just going to copy and paste this again, extend this out a little bit and just say shop best sellers. And then adjust you, make sure you're centered, and boom, that looks pretty good. Mwah, this is beautiful, great email. We start off with a hi button at the top saying shop bestsellers. We go into a bridge section that builds like kind of just like your brand, and then we outline some products, shop bestsellers. Now the last thing that we need to add is the footer, which is one of the most important parts of your email. The footer is overlooked so heavily, but it is so important because it's the only part of your emails that's shown in every single email. And so I like to always give options for people to shop further in the footer or have more specific shopping options. This way, no matter your email, like even if you're doing a blog email or an educational email, you'll have shop now buttons in the footer that people can click. And so for Gymshark in this instance, I want to be able to let people shop by either man or woman. And then of course, we're going to do like social media icons and all that good stuff. So I'm going to extend this down a little bit further. And for our footer, we are just going to So for the footer, I like to make the buttons a little bit different. So I've put them as woman and man so that women and men can shop differently depending on the email so that you don't have to separate every email by woman and man. And then rather than make them buttons, I think I just want to create like a line and just have like two essentially sections. So we can do a line like that and then put a line like this and then do the same thing for men. We're gonna copy this to make sure that they're the same width and then move you down, make sure you guys are aligned, and that is pretty perfect. And then I'm just going to copy and paste just images or pictures of social media icons, which you can just look them up, but you can see here, it says frame 85 here, so that means that it's not inside of our Gymshark frame. So I'm going to move this frame, I'll name it social media, and then I want to find the Gymshark email, and then I'm just going to put you down at the bottom. I'll reorganize all these in a second. But boom, now it is inside and we are all good. So it's also a good idea in your footer to have your buttons for browsing, you want to have your social media, you also want to have like icons with a little bit of social proof. This way in every email, you have that information. So I actually just screenshotted what they have in their emails. They have Afterpay, Klarna, free shipping, or free returns, and then world-class support. I think that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna do this and then insert that into the bottom of the email. That looks pretty good. And then at the bottom of every email, I like to build it inside of Klaviyo, but you need to have like essentially the legal stuff and messaging, which Klaviyo will do for you. So maybe we'll add that when we go into Klaviyo. So I'm just going to adjust the background here. And then now I'm going to go back and I'm going to adjust the spacing a little bit, like move this up a little bit. And then I'm also gonna organize all of the layers. Alrighty, so here is the finished product. It is all organized and set up in here. They're back. We just got a new shipment of some of our bestsellers. Do yourself a favor and find out how they earn that bestseller title. We have a gradient from the top, the black that goes into the image. And then we'd say the Gymshark way. We have this bridge section, which has a ton of depth. It has the gradient and it has all the information and it's spread out by these black lines. Then we have the Gymshark favorites. We carry that like black line theme over here. We have individual buttons for each product. These have a little bit more depth. They're spread out evenly. And then we finish with a shop bestsellers button at the bottom. And then in our footer, we have different style buttons. We have some icons and then we have social media icons. I don't know about you, but if I was a customer, I would be clicking these buttons and I would be purchasing on the spot. So this is perfect. Now we are ready to take this into Klaviyo. So I'm going to show you the 3-step process for making sure that this is optimized inside of Klaviyo so that you can send it and not worry about your deliverability. So the first step is we need to slice the design into different sections. So we're uploading image files, and each image can only have one link. And so this shop bestsellers button needs to be different than this and this. And so they need to be separate. We also want to make sure that our image sections aren't too big, because if we have too big of image files, then it's going to be slow to load inside of Klaviyo or when somebody is opening their email in their inbox. So after we slice, we're going to export the images and take them to a website, which is going to compress our image files and make them a lot smaller. And then once we compress them, then we can upload them into Klaviyo, build them out, and then add the correct links. And then there's an extra like half step, which I'm going to show you. Essentially, we just want to add some HTML and some code into our email. So all we have to do to slice, it's super easy. You just go up here and there's a slice feature just ready for you. And all you do is you highlight the section you want. So I'm just going to separate the logo section like this. So now you can see slice 1, it's over top the logo. And once you put it where you want, we're just going to click export on this slice. I like to use 2x and then export it as a JPEG. And then we're going to export it, save it, and then we're going to be able to download it. So I just downloaded that. Now let's get another slice. I'm just going to copy and paste this slice, move this one down, make sure it's aligned with where the other one ended. And I will use just this whole section. Same deal, slice, repeat this for different sections that just aren't too big. And now down here, we have to split each product by each other so that someone can individually click them. Same deal with the footer, we're doing the same thing, but I'm gonna have to do something a little bit different with the icons at the bottom. So at the bottom, I'm going to split it like this. Just to make our lives easier, I'm going to do this. And so this whole section is going to be button for Facebook, and I'm going to export that. And then I'm gonna make a smaller Instagram section here. And then the same thing as Facebook, I'm going to do for Pinterest here. And then we just need to finish with the last icons here at the bottom. Perfect, now we have all of our files sliced. Now let's take them to a tool that is going to compress our image. I like to use iloveimg.com/compress image. This is really good, it's super easy. So I can just select all my slices and then upload them as one big batch right here. And then you'll see, look at how much space that we saved. It was 1.72 megabytes, and now it's 327 kilobytes. It's already downloaded, I can open it right here. Perfect, now let's get over to Klaviyo. So now we are inside of Klaviyo. This is just a random account that's not connected to anything, but all we're gonna do is head over to campaigns. We're gonna create our campaign. I'll say test video, click continue. And then we can send whatever list we want, like the newsletter, Beehive newsletter, join my newsletter. And we can say if we want to skip or not skip recently, sent to profiles, who we don't want to send to, whatever it may be. And then now we're actually into the email subject line. We could say they're back, maybe add a fire emoji. And then in the preview text, we can say something like, check out these bestsellers. And of course, that would be Gymshark, but all we're gonna do now is we're gonna do drag and drop. We're just gonna create a blank email. So now we are all set. We're inside of Klaviyo. We can just delete whatever sections that we want. I'm gonna delete this section. So we only have like the unsubscribed footer here, and then delete literally everything else, and we're starting from scratch. Perfect. So like I said, we're using image files. So we're just gonna drag an image file here, and we're just gonna upload our logo. So right here, these are the compressed ones. So we're just gonna start off with slice 1 and then add these in, and then look at that. Then I'm just gonna duplicate this a bunch of times as we have a lot of slices, and then work on replacing these. Okay, perfect. So we've done everything except for like the social icons, but you can see it looks really good. Everything looks exactly how it was, and you can check mobile as well. This is perfect, but I wanted to show you for adding in these social icons, because you can see we essentially are doing 3 different things in one row. So all that we want to do is we want to upload a table here, drag the table in, and then you have your settings. And so we have this left side, and then we have the right side, we have our text, and then our image. And then cell content, we can see this is text. We want it to be an image. So I'm just gonna change this to an image. And then we can go to table settings here. Then we can add another column because we have 3 different columns. Now I'll change that to an image in a second, but you can also see that there's space on the top and bottom. That's padding. So under settings as well, we can get rid of the padding, set it to 0 so that the images are taking up the whole space. You can see now it's taking up the whole space. and we can change this to an image, and now we can upload our files. So now we are all set. The files aren't too big, so we're all good to go. We just need to upload the link. So all you need to do is go into each image and just paste your link into the link address. So this one, just the logo, would be gymshark.com. This one, you just go to the bestsellers page, link it there, and then same for each one of these, wherever the link you want the customer to go, that's what you put. Super simple, and you can also add alt text. So what alt text is essentially if an image isn't gonna load for a customer, either it's too big for whatever reason, or their inbox provider blocks images from showing up, which is very, 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 very rare. We barely even add alt text, but this is essentially what would show up for somebody if they weren't able to see the image. So in this case, you would say like they're back. You can just replace like with the copy and say, we got a new shipment, something like that, just so a person without images would be able to kind of understand. So you can add your alt text for each one of these, and then you're good to go. And just send yourself a preview of the email so you can test out the links. Just send it to whatever your email is, like max@wellcopy.net, and then you'd be good to go. So boom, what a beautiful email that we made together. Glad you saw it happen. I'm sure this would make Gymshark a ton of money. They're not gonna use it, but they should. That does it for this video. I hope you got a ton of value in seeing me create a Gymshark email live using Figma. I hope you learned a thing or two. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any videos that you would like me to create. If you want another more advanced tutorial here, then I'm happy to do that. If you want me to design your emails with my team for you, and you run an e-com brand that does above $50,000 a month, then book a call. The link will be in the bio. But anyways, appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.